Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a Nile cruise? Watch this video. Hello guys, if you don't know me, my name is Jazmin Angelique. I'm a solo female traveler from Germany. In this video I'm actually not traveling solo, I'm traveling with a friend, but I'm traveling Egypt. I'm currently in Cairo. It's 2 a.m. in the morning. Sorry if I look like sleep deprived, because I am sleep deprived. I haven't slept that much lately, and especially not tonight. But yeah, we're about to fly to Aswan and about to board our Nile cruise, and I'm really excited for that. I've never been on like a river cruise. I've only been like on a cruise around the Persian Gulf, but that was 10 years ago. So I'm really excited to go on another cruise and yeah, experience the Nile, because I think it's going to be amazing. And yeah, we flew to Aswan at 5 a.m. in the morning. Once we landed at Aswan airport, we got picked up by a bus, from where we drove to the city and got a glimpse at the suburbs surrounding Aswan. Once we arrived at the ship, we quickly got to go to our room before we went to the first excursion of the cruise. We first stopped at the High Dam. It was built in the 1960s and goes from Aswan down to the border of Sudan. The dam is very important for the Egyptians as it prevents Nile floodings, but also protects and supports the farmland. After the High Dam, we set off on a little boat cruise to visit Philae temple. The temple is dedicated to Isis, the goddess of healing, birth and magic, and her husband Osiris. The temple is one of the last places where ancient Egyptian religion survived after Christianity was implemented in 550 AD. Fun fact: due to the floodings, the UNESCO decided in the 1960s to move and rebuild the temple block by block on another and more high located island right next to its original spot. After visiting Philae, we went back to the ship and we enjoyed our first night on the ship. Good morning guys, another early morning. It's 3:30 a.m. right now, and today we'll be going to Abu Simbel. I'm so excited because it's honestly, besides like the pyramids and everything in Cairo, this was the place I was most looking forward to, and I absolutely can't wait. Yesterday we actually boarded the cruise ship, as you saw. It's really nice. It's a 5-star cruise. We drove about 3 hours through the beautiful Egyptian desert right to the border of Sudan, where Abu Simbel temple is located. It was built by Ramses II, dedicated to the 3 ancient Egyptians god Ra-Horakhti, I cannot pronounce that, Ptah and Ammon. Ramses II also let a statue of him built along the gods. In the temple's back room are 4 statues. 3 of them are being lighted by the sun twice a year on February 22nd and October 22nd, which is the birth and coronation of Ramses II. When archaeologists rebuilt the temple, they calculated the solar alignment wrong by 1 day. Crazy to think that modern calculations fail, but ancient Egyptians, who had none of our modern technology in 1200 BC, were smarter than us all. After coming back from Abu Simbel, we set off on our first sail on the Nile to the Kombo Ombo temple, which we visited at night. The temple also holds a museum of crocodile mummies, which was really interesting, to be honest. The next morning we arrived in Edfu, where we immediately took off to visit its temple. To be honest, Edfu was the most shocking experiences of all the places we visited. The town is really old, but as the buildings were never restored, it almost looks like a war zone, and I've never seen such poverty before. On top of that, horses are being exploded, and still the town is more than overrun by masses of tourists for its temple, which they clearly cannot handle. Other than all the negatives I've mentioned, I really love this temple. It was absolutely stunning. The temple is dedicated to Horus. It was built in 237 BC and is one of the best preserved in all of Egypt. After the temple, we sailed about 5 hours to Luxor. We also passed the Esna barrage, where suddenly 10 to 15 little boats chained themselves to our ship just to sell their souvenirs to the passengers. They were very desperate, which was again another heartbreaking experience. In Luxor, our first stop was the absolutely stunning Karnak temple. To be honest, out of all the temples we had visited, it was definitely the most beautiful and was especially impressive during sunset. It even has one of its original color, which to me is mind-blowing considering it is over more than 1,000 years old. The last stop of the day was Luxor Temple. It was the oldest temple in all of Egypt and built over 3,000 years ago. Luxor Temple is connected with the Karnak Temple by the Swing Street. The street was opened in 2021 with a huge celebration. On the last day of our cruise, we sailed to the west bank of Luxor to visit Hatshepsut Temple. Sadly, this temple was part of a terrorist attack in the 70s. For me, it was a very special day because we had the most lovely encounter that morning. This group of girls came up to us to ask for photos. They only spoke Arabic, so sadly we could not communicate with them, other than the word photo. Still to this day, we do not know where they were from, but all of it didn't really matter as smiles were all we needed. I'm sure they took 1,000 photos of us, but I will always cherish this moment and experience. The last stop of the tour was the Valley of the Kings. In this valley are 64 tombs, such as the tomb of King Ramses II as well as Tutankhamun. In the evening, we said our goodbye to the cruise ship before we boarded our flight to Cairo. It was the weirdest thing because we had a Boeing 787 on a 1-hour domestic flight, but it was lovely. Good morning guys, welcome back to Cairo. So, yeah, yesterday we arrived back in Cairo, the Nile cruise ended, and we're now spending our last full day here in Cairo. We'll be changing hotels later today, and I'm really excited for that one. But I just wanted to tell you guys what I thought about the Nile cruise first. It was honestly amazing. It definitely saved all the trip. Our guide was absolutely amazing. His name was Ali, and he was so knowledgeable and so sweet and nice, and he definitely didn't rip us off. He always helped us, and yeah, it was a really nice trip in that way. We also saw a lot, as you guys saw. It was so much program, sometimes a bit too much because we're so exhausted, but it doesn't matter because we saw and experienced a lot, and we still have to comprehend that. But yeah, it was an amazing trip, honestly. And yesterday also with the girls, then also, like, you know, seeing a different side of Egypt in Edfu. I mean, that was shocking, to be honest. But yeah, overall I think the trip was amazing. The temples were just overall stunning, and though we saw like temple after temple after temple, they were all different and all beautiful. And honestly, I can highly recommend going on a cruise because yeah, you see so much. When it comes to solo female travel, I wouldn't recommend it just because
it would be a bit, I don't know, you can't do it as a solo traveler, but I feel like Egypt is not the country to solo travel. If you go on a full-on solo trip, I would always recommend going with group trips that are more, you know, like a group, that feel more like a group. This one was a group trip, but like didn't feel that much because it was for older people, or like of all ages, better to say that. But you know, G Adventures, for example, has a really cool Egypt trip. You don't really do a night cruise, you drive around all these places or to these places, but you go on a felucca and sleep there, which is very nice as well. So yeah, you have to decide for yourself what you're gonna do. But overall, the Tourator tour of Getaways Egypt was really, really good. I can say that.
Sadly, our wonderful time in Egypt had a bad ending. Though we were super careful, we apparently ate something bad at our hotel that night and spent the night and the majority of our flight home with food poisoning. Wasn't fun, I can tell you that. However, still, I want to emphasize that I had an amazing and very memorable trip, and it was definitely my favorite trip of the year. But with this, I want to say thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it hopefully inspired you to go travel to Egypt yourself.
Rendezvous, make some time for me and you, get you over, treat you right. We vibing like, rendezvous, make some time for me.